Today we're going to be doing or introducing a digital project. The standards for it are on the board as well as the objectives. What we're going to do is we're going to create a presentation. We're going to develop a social media campaign. Creating a digital project, the whole thing is going to be a digital project, so these two coincide. And we're going to remix a digital work, which is going to be the infographic that I'm going to introduce to you. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Great. So we're going to go over briefly storytelling as well as creating social media campaigns, okay? There's a lot of issues going on in society and everything, so what we're going to do is we're going to create, since technology is a very big part of our society, we're going to create some social media campaigns. We will briefly go over that further in the lesson. There will be examples provided, and then you will create one yourself in your groups that have already been assigned. For all components of this project, you will stay within your group. Your infographic will be with your same group. Your project, making it engaging, each person in your group is going to play a vital role in creating this and putting it all together. When you turn it in next week, next Wednesday, you will have until next Wednesday to turn it in. It will be turned in all at once, okay? Sometimes it's difficult if you can't figure out how to attach your infographic to your presentation. You can submit it as a separate document, but it all needs to be turned in at the same time. If you get done early, you are allowed to submit it early, but everything has to be turned in all at the same time, okay? Do you have questions about that? Okay, so because this is a digital project, what we need to go over and what I need to make sure that y'all understand is your digital etiquette, your digital responsibilities, okay? Also understanding, some of it you're gonna have to research. You need to understand the importance of citing your information and not plagiarizing. Anything you find on the internet, whether it's an image that you pick to showcase your project, okay, in one of the slides, you need to cite it, or at least put the website at the bottom of the image where you got it from, okay? Everything on the internet comes from someplace. It is from somebody else. You need to give them credit for their work. Throughout this lesson, we will discuss the different digital tools, okay? We'll discuss what a multimedia presentation is. That's what your digital project is going to be on. Digital storytelling, as I mentioned before, we're going to go over that. I'll go ahead and mention that right now. It is a combination of when you combine text, you combine images, audio, visuals, videos, pretty much any type of technological component into one that tells a story. Okay, so in a little bit, I'm gonna give you the go-ahead. I have sent y'all a video to your emails about storytelling. You will be able to watch that. You will watch that together as a group. And then when you come back after watching that, it's about a 5-minute video. When y'all will discuss what you learned from that video, okay? You're gonna pay attention to the graphics. You're gonna pay attention to the sounds, transitions, animations. You'll pay attention to every component of that video, and then you will be given an exit ticket and you will write down one thing that you learned from that video. Okay? As we embrace these digital tools, we need to be mindful of 3 certain areas, okay? We need to be reminded of the safety that we need to use when regarding digital technologies, okay? Legal use and ethical use, okay? So for the safety, your passwords, anything you make online needs a really strong password, okay? You need to make it to where it would be hard for somebody to get into that. Anything you think about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all your social media accounts, you don't want anybody hacking into those accounts, right? So you need to create a really good password for somebody not to be able to access your information. A lot of people put a lot of personal information on Facebook. Okay, you need to prevent that. Be mindful of your personal information and what you share. Never share your locations, okay? That's a big no-no, okay? We don't need to share our locations with anybody. Half the people on the internet aren't real, okay? You don't want anybody showing up to the park because you said you were there, striking up conversation. That's kind of creepy, okay? Never put your full name, your address, your phone number. None of that needs to be on the internet, okay? Keep in mind of those. Legal use, copyright, okay? That's basically plagiarism, okay, in the digital field. Any images, like I said earlier, you need to have a link to the website from where you got it from. If you got it from Google, if you got it from Facebook, if you got it from Twitter, wherever, okay? You also need to do the same if you include videos or any type of music in your presentation. You need to make sure that you copyright it, that you make sure that you have it under those links, okay? You will also need to refresh your citing and resourcing, okay? When you find information from a website and you put it into something for a project or for anything, you need to cite that information, okay? We need to know where you got it from, the author of it, okay? Y'all learned that in your English classes. You will also need to create a sources page at the end of your project from where it is, okay? You're gonna use in-text citations. I'm not gonna require you to attach it to every bullet point. Any slide that has any information that you have researched, you need to put your citation at the bottom of that slide, okay? Also, do not copy word for word from the internet. That is plagiarism, and that is a big legal misuse of information, okay? Make sure you summarize, put it in your own words, any information that you get off the internet. Ethical use, what is called as netiquette, okay? If you have good etiquette, you have manners, you have good behavior, okay? Netiquette is that same thing, but on the internet. It's on the internet, netiquette, okay? That's where that comes from. Always treat others with respect. Don't be harsh, don't be crude and rude on certain different social media platforms, okay? There's no need for that. That's cyberbullying, okay? We can break it down to that. Cheating, it is very important to maintain your academic integrity, okay? If you cheat on any test, on any assignment, and a teacher catches you, even if the teacher doesn't catch you, okay, it's cheating, okay? You're not using your own words, or you're looking off of somebody else's paper or test. Same thing goes for the internet. Technically, it is cheating if you use somebody's information for your research, okay? Plagiarism, copyright. Cyberbullying is another serious issue that I brought to your attention earlier, okay? Don't be rude, be polite, be respectful of what people post online. If you don't like it, don't engage with the post, okay? By understanding these different technological issues and important notes, we can create an environment to where we can access this technology in a safe, controlled environment, okay? If we can all understand and follow these rules, then we can create a safe technological environment and prevent a lot of the issues, especially cyberbullying. We do not have Chromebook cards. Y'all have your Chromebooks. We do not have to schedule time for you to access the Chromebook. However, you will have this class period until the due date, next Wednesday, to complete this project. Y'all will be allowed to work on it in class every single day. If you end up getting done with it all at once, you can submit it as a group. Make sure you include the names of everybody in your group. If you feel like you need additional work outside of class, since y'all are able to take your Chromebooks home, you can also do it at home, okay? To ensure that all of this runs smoothly and effectively, we need to be respectful of our Chromebooks, even though they are personal to us in the school year that we are allowed to use them. You are allowed to take them at home. Remember that they are also still school property, okay? We don't need to be tearing up keys, banging on the keyboard, messing up screens, okay? We don't need to be throwing our backpack around when we have it in our backpack, okay? We need to keep it in good condition. Don't put food and drink near your Chromebook. You have a chance of spilling it or getting crumbs in it and messing the keyboard up. Make sure we have appropriate online behavior, okay? Again, be respectful of other people's posts. Be respectful of what other people are engaging in. If you don't like it, simply choose to ignore it and keep scrolling. Make sure you keep your device secure, okay? Make sure you have a password that nobody knows, only you can access it, okay? Unless an adult at the school is needing it and needs permission to access your computer. That is the only time you really need to give your password out to anybody for your school Chromebook. If you experience any technical issues, we know that we can take it to the librarian, okay? And they will make a report on it. If that were to happen in the middle of this project, you can share a Chromebook with one of your partners, or you can access my loaner Chromebook. We need to, since it is a group collaboration effort, we need to respect each other's opinions. Nothing anybody says in the group is dumb. Nothing is stupid. We will not treat it as such, okay? If anybody has a good idea, whether you like it or not, there's a respectful way to go about it, okay? We need to stay focused, okay? Use your time wisely. You have an entire 51-minute class period every single day up until next Wednesday to get this done, okay? You also have a weekend thrown in there. Y'all can take your Chromebooks home. Follow the guidelines, respect privacy, be accountable, okay? I'm not gonna check in with y'all and make sure y'all are on task, okay? When y'all get together as a group in a little bit, you need to designate which partner is going to do the editing, which partner is gonna do the research, which one's gonna be in charge of submitting the infographic, making the social media campaign. You can have more than one role, okay? There's gonna be 3 of y'all in a group. You can have more than one role. Make sure you designate that. That's the first thing you need to do once we get together in groups. Does anybody have any questions as of right now? These are very important guidelines, whether you know it or not. Now you do. Does anybody have any questions over the new information we have just gone over? No, great. All right, so what I'm gonna have y'all do is y'all are going to disperse into your groups in just a minute. Okay, I sent you the link for that storytelling video. Once that video is watched, you will discuss what you've learned as a group. And then when that is over, you may get an exit ticket, okay? When you receive this exit ticket, it will ask you one thing, to write down one thing that you have learned from that video. You will submit this to me, you'll turn it in. You'll turn it in right up here in the slot, that you always do. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, once you turn this in, you can go ahead and go back to your group and get to working on your project. All right, y'all can go.